the shoulder of a county road, past the sycamores and telephone poles. Evening poured through the leaning wheat, soft as dust around my feet. There were summers when the world stayed small, one back porch and a willow wall. Now the horizon keeps pulling wide, like a quiet hand at my side. By a ring of stones and a cedar flame, smoke rose up and thinned my name. Crickets stitched through the settling black, and the old years came in single file back. My mother's hymn from another room, screen door light in the early gloom. Time moves on, but it don't move clean. It leaves its mark in the in-between, when the fire burns down to red and the dark gets deep and slow. Every word I never said starts to loosen, starts to go. So I let the night go through me now, like the wind goes low through a bending bough, with the past like dust on a worn out sleeve, and a little more ache than I used to leave. If I'm only a spark in a field that fades, still live alive, belong to the light that made me. Further up where the trail turns thin, old roots curl through the earth again. No grand sign in the hills ahead, just the ground and the things it said, that a life can change without a sound, like seed heads bound to the ground. And faith ain't loud, it's a slower thing, like a creek bed waiting on the spring, with the embers breathing low and the tall grass keeping time. What I carry, what I know, both get smaller in the pine. So I let the night go through me now, like the wind goes low through a bending bough, with the past like dust on a worn out sleeve, and a little more ache than I used to leave. If I'm only a spark in a field that fades, still I belong to the light that made me. No answer fell from the stars above, just the plain, wide truth of enough. Small and brief in the breathing land, still somehow held in an open hand. So I let the night go through me now, like the wind goes low through a bending bough. If I'm only a spark in a field that fades, still I belong to the light that made me.
Down the cut where the old trail dips, dust rose soft in my boots and hips. Pine shade moved in a broken seam, light ran slow through the silver green. By a stump where the fire once burned, smoke still clung where the earth had turned. Far off hills held the fading day, like a thought that won't go away. There was a road by the garden fence, cracked white paint and a hint of rain sand. Mother's voice through the screen door rang, thin and warm as the dishes clanged. Years went by like a wagon wheel, slow enough just to make them real. Now the fields and the crows at dusk keep those hours in their quiet trust. Nothing speaks but the grass bows low, and the dark takes shape where the tall pines grow. Small out here in the deepening land, still there's peace in the dirt and sand. So I leave my weight with the evening ground, where the lost old names still drift around, where the fire burns down to a patient red, and the night leans close to the things unsaid. When the wide world turns like a wheel above, there is room down here for my doubt enough. No grand sign in the star-worn black, just a breath in the creek running past the track. Maybe faith is a slower sound, like dry leaves settling to the ground. So I leave my weight with the evening ground, where the lost old names still drift around. When the wide world turns like a wheel above, there is room down here for my doubt enough.
By the split rail fence, where the tall weeds sway, the trail runs out from the noise of the day, past a ring of stones and a half-burned log, through the resonant smoke and the low blue fog. The crows move home through the copper air, pines stand still like a weathered prayer. Some old summer lives under every sound, in the breath of the dusk and the cooling ground. Years don't break clean, they fray at the seam. They cling like birds to a half-lit dream. Home's not only the porch or the door, it's a bend in the road that can't be restored. It's the creek bed shine in the sycamore shade, the names in the dirt that the wheels once made, and the child that ran through the field at noon still walks these hills by the rise of the moon. Maybe faith is a lantern turned down low, just enough for the next few steps to show. And out is the wind in the grass nearby, moving through me, then moving by. So I stay with the fire till the red burns thin, till the dark comes close and the stars look in, and the years drift down like ash in the air, gone footstep, soft as a name, held by the night, all the same, all the same. No bold answer rose from the ridge or pine, just a whippoorwill and the passing time, and a hush so deep in the open land, it felt like truth without a demand. So I stay with the fire till the red burns thin, till the dark comes close and the stars look in, and the years drift down like ash in the air, gone from the flame, but there's still somewhere.
Down the path where the tall grass bends, evening gathers like an old lost friend. Boot soles hush on the river stone, pines lean in but they leave me alone. Smoke from a match drifts thin and slow through the cedar in the afterglow. Somewhere far where the ridge lines fade, a younger voice still calls my name. There was a yard and a rusted swing, dust in the throat at the turn of spring. Screen door beat with a tired refrain, then years rolled out like summer rain. Now every mile and every bend feels like a thing that won't stay pinned. What was home but a borrowed flame, warm for a while and changed its shape. Night comes down in a quiet sweep, lays its hand on the roots and leaves, out past out where the dark hills wait. Small hearts listen for something great. So let the fire talk low tonight, let it loosen the knots held tight. There's a truth in the ashen air, something lost still living there. When the world gets wide and I feel small, ground like this can hold it all. Stars don't answer, but they stay, bright as nails in a weathered frame. Faith might be just a simple breath, kept for the road and nothing else. Let the fire talk low tonight, let
Past the tall grass where the wagon ruts fade, out where the cottonwoods gather their shade. Smoke from the fire rose thin through the trees, drifting its old familiar ease. Boots in the dirt and a pack on the spine, following light as it fell through the pine. And some of that country still lives in the chest, quiet and warm, but it knows me the best. Years have a way of untying the thread, leaving their marks in the words left unsaid. Bound by the roadside still leans in the sun, holding its shape though the paint has come undone. Home is not always a place you can name. Sometimes it flickers and won't stay the same. Still in the distance where fence lines disappear, something goes still and the heart can hear clear. Maybe we're only a sound in the leaves, a breath that the hillside gathers and keeps. Still there's a peace in the slowing of day, as if being small has its own kind of grace. So I follow the bend where the dry fields lie, with the ash in the dusk and the red in the sky. And the years roll back like a creek-worn stone, smooth by the miles but never quite gone. Small in the dark but steady somehow, held by the earth that is under me now. No clear sign written out in the flame, just smoke going up and the dark doing the same. And a far line of hills in the last light's glow, saying stay for a minute before you go. So I follow the bend where the dry fields lie, with the ash in the dusk and the red in the sky. And the years roll back like a creek-worn stone, smooth by the miles but never quite gone. Past the bend in the pines, evening late gold on the fence, posting signs. Dust in the heel and the sun going slow. Creep stones hum low where the tall grasses grow. Smoke from a campfire hung thin in the air. Blackbirds cut shadows through blue without care.
child. Back when the miles all felt patient and wild. Now the same hills hold a quieter sound. Roots in the dark and my weight on the ground. Old wooden barns lean like they're trying to pray. Paint turning loose and just drifting away. Home is a voice that gets harder to keep. Half in the daylight and half in my sleep. Still when the wind moves through sumac and sage, something in me turns a page after page. Maybe we're only a spark and a seam, a little bit of dust in a much larger dream. Still there's a hush when the last light bends, that makes all the broken parts feel like friends. So I walk where the long field opens wide, with the burn of the west in the dark at my side. And the years fall soft like ash from a flame, gone from the hand but still warm with a name. Small as a breath in the mouth of the night, still I keep on toward the thinning light. No grand answer in the cedar and the smoke, just the truth in the ground and the words never spoke. In a far-ridge line where the daylight stays, teaching my bones how to carry their days. So I walk where the long field opens wide, with the dark in my back and the west as my guide. And the years fall soft like ash from a flame, gone from the hand but still warm with a name.
The edge of the pines where the footpath bends, daylight loosens, slowly thins. Gold on the grass and red on the stone makes this wild land feel less alone. Back when home was a porch light sway, and the sound of supper at the end of day. The world fit easy in a small boy's hands. Now it opens wider than I understand. By the fire on a rise above the creek, smoke goes up where the dark grows deep. Kettle trembling with a thin old song, like it's known where the years have gone. Some things leave, but they never leave clean. They stay in the bark, in the denim seams, in the quiet pause when the wood falls through, and the night makes room for a harder truth. When the last light leaves the hill and the air turns slow and plain, even doubt can soften still like dry earth after rain. So I carry what the years won't name, down the open road through the cedar flame, with a little smoke in my coat stitched in, and a heart that breaks where it once held in. If I'm only small in this breathing land, let me learn to be held, not understand. Great sign in the sky up here, just the grass bowing low and the woods drawing near, and the ground beneath my worn out shoes said not every loss is made to lose. So I carry what the years won't name, with a little smoke in my coat stitched in. If I'm only small in this breathing land, let me learn to be held, not understand.
Trail ran thin through the shoulder-high grass, past a ring of stone where the old fires passed, and the dust came down through the trembling leaves, soft as a hand at the hem of the trees. Somewhere a bird gave a worn-out call. Daylight leaned west on the cedar wall, and the smoke rose slow from a half-burned pine, like a thought that leaves, but it takes its time. There was a field where the road bent south, full of the names I still don't speak out loud, and a gate gone slack on a rusted chain, holding its place through the years and rain. Back when the world fit under my feet, home was a porch and a gravel street. Now every mile puts a shade on the past, showing how little was built to last. Still the hills don't hurry the dark along, still the earth keeps time when the days go wrong, and the quiet says what it always knew. Some things leave and some pass through. So I sit with the fire till the red burns low, let the night take in what I cannot hold. There's a light in the clear note in a world this long. The blackened limb, evened out sound soft at the forest's rim, and the heart half wild and half worn with years learns the shape of peace without losing tears. So I sit with the fire till the red burns low. I was never as far as I feared I'd go.
By the edge of the pines where the fire burned down, smoke curled up slow like a worn out prayer, and the trail ran off through the clearing brown, like it knew someplace but it would not share. Gravel clung hard to the soles of my boots. Dark came soft through the leaning spruce. Some old crow called from a fence gone weak, and the dust said less than the heart could speak. There was a hill back home by a water tower, tall enough then to feel like grace, where the weeds grew thick through the hardest hours, and the wind put dust on a young boy's face. Now the years run wide like a county line, past the sheds and the field roads left behind. Still the smell of earth after daylight's gone brings the porch light back where the mind walks on. And the sky stays still when the fire gets low, like it's heard every name that I used to know, while the dark rolls in with an open hand, making small things plain where the small things stand. So let me be a little while longer here, where the flame burns down and the air turns clear, where the night holds on but it don't hold tight, and the lost look less like they're lost tonight. Every road I took, every mile I made, brought me back to the hush beneath the shade. Black oak limbs and a patient moon. Even doubt finds less it can answer to. And the heart worn thin by the weight of days, hears the ground speak back in its quiet plea. Let me be a little while longer here, where the flame burns down and the air turns clear. Every road I took, every mile I made, brought me back to the hush beneath the shade.
Past the old gate where the wire gives way, a narrow trail turns from the ruts of the day. Through the hush of the firs and the tall yellow grass, where the light moves slow and the hours can pass. Smoke from the fire curls thin through the leaves. Night gathers soft in the crook of the trees. Something in silence keeps calling me back to a boy and a road and a worn canvas pack. Now the boots hit harder, the hill feels more steep. The names once spoken don't stay as they keep. Barns by the roadside bow low in the heat, boards full of weather and dust at their feet. Home is a thing that can drift and remain, half in the body and half in the grain. Still when the wind leans and the fence posts sing, old days rise up like a bird on the wing. Maybe faith is a path through the brush and the briar, not a blaze in the sky, just a small steady fire. And doubt is the dark at the edge of the frame, close enough to see, but not calling my name. So I walk where the last light lays on the ground, where the fields breathe low without needing a sound, and the years fall back like ash from a spark, drifting down slow through the blue of the dark. Small as a shadow, but still held the same by the wide open night that remembers my name. No grand answer came from the ridge or the flame, just the crickets at work and the dust doing the same. And a peace in the distance, so quiet and plain, like a hand on the heart, without needing to explain. So I walk where the last light lays on the ground, where the fields breathe low without needing a sound, and the years fall back like ash from a spark, drifting down slow through the blue of the dark.
Like a kettle hum on the flame. The pines stood still like they knew my name, and the path ran pale through the settling ground, where the day let go without a sound. Boot dust slept in the cuffs of my jeans. Smoke moved low through the cedar green. Far off hills held back the light, like a field hand folding the edge of night. There's an old dirt road by the edge of town, where the weeds push up through the ruts worn down, and a fence post leans where he used to stand, like my father's hat in a weathered hand. Back then the world had a smaller frame, one porch lamp and a supper name. Now the miles put space where the years have been, and the heart grows wide where the cracks set in. Still the grass bows down when the wind moves through. Still the dark makes room for a thing called truth, and the silence plain as an open door says not everything needs asking for. So I'll stay till the fire's all ember and cold. Let the night lay its hand on the worn out soul. There's a grace in the smoke when it climbs them thins, in the hush that settles beneath the skin. Every road I took, every mile I roamed, kept a little ash from the old place home. One clear star and a crooked limb, even doubt turns small at the canyon's brim, and the ache I carried from year to year sounds less like loss when the earth is near. So I'll stay till the fire's all ember and cold. Let the hush make room in the worn out soul. Every road I took, every mile I roamed, kept a little ash from the old place home.
Chestnut trees, light falls down in a scatter of leaves. Dust climbs up from my careful boots. Day goes thin in the tangled was a yard and a rusted swing and a screen door hymn in the early spring. Now the road runs out past the pasture line, and the heart keeps pace with a slower time. By the fire where the split logs breathe, smoke drips low through the grass and weeds. Kettle hums on a bed of coals. Night comes soft to the fence and poles. Some names fade like the ashen air. Some stay caught in the cedar there. What was lost never left in full. It just changed its shape and quieted down. When the shadows reach the hill and the birds go still at last, even sorrow loses will in the wide arms of the grass. So I walk with a wake on light through the open fields at the edge of night, with the past like smoke in a flannel seam, and a little faith in the things unseen. If I'm only dust where the tall pines lean, let me rest a while in the in-between. No bright answer across the dark, just a whippoorwill and a fading spark. But the earth beneath me held its ground, and that was enough to lay me down. So I walk with a wake on light, with the past like smoke in a flannel seam. If I'm only dust where the tall pines lean, let me rest a while in the in-between.
Down the footpath where the tall grass bends, evening settles slow on the fence post ends. A crow cuts out through the copper light. Dust hangs warm in the field till night. There was a time when the world felt near, small as a porch and a parent's ear. Now every mile puts a hush in me, like the land knows more than it needs to speak. By the fire ring with the kettle black, smoke lifts thin and the dark leans back. Pine roots hold where the hillside breaks. Stone keeps still by the sleeping lake. Names once spoken have thinned with time. Some fell away like a half-heard line. Still in the quiet the heart can tell wonder more than doubt. So I walk where the dim trail goes, through the hush of the pines and the afterglow, with my whole life tied in a gentle load, and a little faith in the things that grow. If I'm small in the hands of the earth below, maybe all I need to know. Nothing here asks me to explain, not the ember, not the plane, just the dark and the breathing ground, and a lost boy settling down. So I walk where the dim trail goes, with a little faith in the things that grow. If I'm small in the hands of the earth below, that may be all I need to know.
Down a two-track road where the tall grass sways, evening gathered up in a copper haze, and the fire spoke low in a bed of stone, like it knew how to keep a man alone. Through the cedar shade came a slow dark breeze, carrying dust and the pitch of trees, while the hills held on to the fading gold, as if light grows shy when the heart grows old. There's a bend out west where the fence runs thin, where the weeds climb high through the barbed wire skin, and a house long gone still lives in the ground, in a square of nettles and a chimney mound. Back when the world was a smaller sound, home was a porch where the dark came down. Now the years move on like a creek gone wide, taking boards and names in the turning tide. Still the trail goes on when the day burns through, still the sky stays broad when the soul feels used, and the hush out here with its patient grace leaves a little room for the restless age. So I'll walk till the last light falls apart, with the smell of smoke and the weight of heart, and the wide, wide dark like an open hand makes a small thing holy where a small thing stands. Every mile I lost, every mile I knew, led me back to the ground that I once outgrew. When the stars lean close through the black oak boughs, evened out grows still for a while somehow, and the fear of a struck match fades in the breath of the field and the lengthening shade. So I walk till the last light falls apart with the smell of smoke and the weight of heart. Every mile I lost, every mile I knew led me back to the ground that I once outgrew. If I laid down in a circle of stone while the pines stood back in a patient line, and the dust came in with a steadier tone, like a hand on the shoulder saying, take your time down the trail. Dry needles soften my feet, smoke climbs slow through the darkening blue. Somewhere far, one bird cut across the heat, then the whole wide clearing felt quiet and true. There's a field back home by a sagging fence where the grass grew tall around a rusted plow, and a boy once thought that the world made sense if he stayed near the porch and the cattle ground. Now the roads run long through the years gone thin, past the sheds and the ditches I used to know. Still the smell of dust when the light falls in brings the shape of that house to the dark below. When the hills don't speak but they seem to know how a heart holds on and still lets go, how the night comes white, how the soul stays small, like a spark in the grass at the edge of it all. So I'll sit right here till the embers fade, till the black turns soft in the cedar shade, where the lost in me and the land agree. Not every broken thing needs mending clean. There's a mercy claim in the earth and air, being small for once and still being there. The stars lean out through the branch and bough, even doubt grows hushed in the open now, and the ache of time with its worn down weight sounds less like fear in the breathing plain. So I'll sit right here till the embers fade, till the black turns soft in the cedar shade. There's a mercy plain in the earth and air, being small for once and still being there. There's a footpath cut thin through the tall cedar floor, past the stump with the marks from a season before, where the dust takes its time on the back of the land, and the weeds bow down like they finally understand. Fire by the campsite, talk slow in the grate, sending sparks through the dark like a question of fate. Some old part of me still hears my boyhood there, in the creak of the pines and smoke in the air. Now the years move slow, but they don't really stay. They loosen like dust at the end of the day, and home's not the house with the rusted tin roof. It's the place in the chest that still asks for some proof. Why the fields go gold, why the light has to bend, why a road can feel lost and still lit like a friend. So I walk with the crickets and the far-off crows, letting night fill the names that the daylight outgrows. Maybe faith is a trail that gets dim then returns, a little bit of peace in the place where it burns, and doubt is just another tree casting shade where I need to see. So I stay till the last of the fire falls through, till the ash draws a map in a faded red hue, and the hills hold still like they've nothing to prove, while the dark and the heart make a little more room, small as a breath in the wide unseen, still somehow held in the hush between. No loud answer came from the ridge or the flame, just a slow settling earth and a whippoorwill's name, and the sense that the silence was not empty space, just a hand on the shoulder, just a little grace. So I stay till the last of the fire falls through, till the ash draws a map in a faded red hue, and the hills hold still like they've nothing to prove, while the dark and the heart make a little more room.
Out beyond the pines where the two tracks end, firelight leaned on the stones again, and the smoke went up in a crooked line, like a thought half kept and half left behind. And grass bent low where the dog moved through, earth held warm from the afternoon. No word spoke but the settling wood, and the silence said what a preacher could. Back behind my ribs lives a little road, past a pasture gate and a light low, where a screen door slapped in the falling heat, and bare feet darkened with dust and creep. Years went wide like a field in June, full of leaving soon and returning soon. Now the names I knew don't ring the set loose on the forest floor. So let the night come in through the trees and wire. Let it lay me down by the breathing fire, where the lost don't shine, but they don't disappear. They just turn to smoke and they hover near. In a world this wide, under stars this far, even a quiet life leaves a faithful mark. When the last flame bows and the coals burn red, doubt grows small in the open spread, and the soul worn thin by the weight of days finds a little truth in the cedar shade. Let the night come in through the trees and wire. Let it lay me down, the breathing fire. In a world this wide,
past the last fence post, the gravel thins. Day folds down where the field begins. Tall weeds lean when the light runs low, like they've heard something I don't know. Back then home was a screen door sound. Red dirt roads in the edge of town. Now each mile has a quieter name, and the wind don't call me back the same. By a small pine fire on a borrowed hill, smoke climbs up when the world gets still. Kettle sings with a tired old throat. Night slips down through my father's coat. Years went by like a creek through stone, leaving shape where the heart had worn. Some things fade, but the ground stays true, holding prints long after passing through. When the dark lays down its weight, every question loses speed, and the soul can sit and wait like a root beside a seed. So I follow where the slow path bends, past the grass and the burned log ends, with the past tied up in a blanket roll, and a little dust inside my soul. If the wide world keeps what I can't hold, maybe that's how a heart grows old. No loud sign in the cedar shade. with the past tied up in a blanket roll. If the wide world keeps what I can't hold, maybe that's how a heart grows old.
Past the fence where the blackbirds rose, a narrow trail through the summer goes. Light fell thin through the leaning pines, gold on dust and the broken signs. Boot heels marked where the day had been, by the creek in the copper skin of the fire that breathed in a hollow ring, like it knew what the dark might bring. There was a house at the edge of wheat, screen door slam and a porch of heat, mason jars on the windowsill, late sun caught and the world stood still. Years ran off like a shallow stream, left their marks in the boards and beams. Now the road and the old hillside keep the names that the tongue won't find out, where the field meets the fallen shade. Something stays though the rest has changed, small as dust in the evening span. Still this earth makes a place to stand. So I walk where the tall grass sways, where the smoke lifts thin and the daylight fades. Every mile hums low and plain, like a worn out hymn in the open grain. When the heart grows lost in the deepening blue, the ground speaks back and it speaks in truth. Far off hills in a violet line hold a peace like a sacred sign. No loud answer, no grand design, just the breath in the turning sky. Maybe faith is a quieter thread, a little flame that the wind won't deaden. Maybe doubt is a price we pay to keep looking past yesterday. Stars came out through the cedar smoke, slow and clear where the ridgeline broke. Nothing moved but the ash and air, still enough to be held in there. So I walk where the tall grass sways, where the smoke lifts thin and the daylight fades. When the heart grows lost in the deepening blue, the ground speaks back and speaks in truth. Where the smoke lifts thin and the daylight fades. When the heart grows lost in the deepening blue, the ground speaks back and it speaks in truth.
the edge of the camp where the tall pines breathe. Light fell thin through the bark and leaves, and the fire burned down to a rust-red seam, throwing old gold shapes through the cedar green. Dust on the trail and smoke in my clothes. Dark took its time where the hillside rose. No one there but the field and the flame, and the hush that follows a spoken name. My mind is a gravel drive, a porch light dim in the summer night, where a boy once ran through the cut down hay, thinking time was slow and the world would stay. Now the years move on like a wagon wheel, leaving worn deep tracks that the rains don't heal. Still the ground smells the same when the daylight goes, like the earth remembers what the body knows. And the sky stayed white while the fire sank low, like it had no need for the things I know. Just a patient dark and a waiting land, making a room for the heart to unclench its hands. So let me rest where the slow smoke climbs, where the hills don't care how I spend my time, where the lost years fade like a trail gone dim, but the stars come out at the edge of them, in a world so broad, in a life so brief. There is peace enough in the grass and heat. When the last spark lifts from the bed of stone, even doubt grows quiet out here alone, and the weight I drag through the day and din turns to ash and wind when the night leans in. Peace